term VJ kind of came about sort of towards the end of the 90s.
In the earlier days, it was much more about moving wallpaper in a club, and it was very dumbed down and seen as secondary.
My name's Tolly.
And I'm Graham, and we're Addictive TV from London.
Well, we're an audiovisual act.
Yeah, we produce everything you kind of see and hear is our own kind of work or remixes.
Freelancer? Freelancer.
My name's Chris Allen. I'm the founder and director of Light Surgeons. So the Light Surgeons are a collective, and it really just kind of came about quite organically through a collective interest in experimenting with projection.
My name's Oli Sorenson, and I'm promoting the event tonight. It's an event that's called AV Social, and it's in collaboration with Look and Listen.
Hi, I'm Alex Wright. I'm part of FataMorgana, a visual sort of loose collective that I started like 3 years ago. We started off doing purely analogue VJing, working with Super 8 film and other live camera based mediums, and kind of expanded it now to writing our own VJ software.
We are Vector Meldrew, and we VJ predominantly, but we also do a lot of stuff. Robbie works in TV and broadcast, and I work a lot in graphic design and animation and motion graphics.
Hi, I'm Michael Faulkner, and I'm from an organisation called Diffuse. Diffuse is a small group of artists who sort of background started in club culture and VJing, and we sort of moved more into live cinema.
We are Hexstatic. We produce audiovisual works and perform audiovisual shows around the globe.
VJing, it's to try and make a visual representation of the music that's being played at the time.
VJ culture is audio, video or imagery, and an audience. They're the three factors.
It's kind of like spawned from the whole remixing thing, you know, getting something, cutting it up, and just getting people in the club to see it, you know. It's just about, you know, you go out to a club to listen to music and kind of get immersed in the sound, and it's just another kind of sense that you can immerse yourself in, really.
In terms of simplifying what it is, I guess it would be the manipulation of moving image or time-based media in a live context.
A strong theme of it is trying to get away from the traditional format of cinema where it's filmed, edited and then screened.
It can be all things, I think. It can be both,
Yeah.
It depends what's being shown.
I think that AV, particularly with what we do, where it's all very much, the audio and the video is all very combined, I think it's both art and entertainment.
Is it an art form? I would say for sure. I have quite a broad understanding of what art is really, and I think art can be pretty much anything you want it to be really. At the end of the day, it's kind of, it is entertainment. It takes all sorts of forms.
But it's a bit of both. I mean, it's a bit of everything. It depends really what you want to make of it.
Well, for us it's the ultimate merging of audio and video to produce an entertaining product or performance.
It's my personal belief that anything that anyone considers to be art can be art, but I think a lot of VJing, you'd be hard pressed to find much artistic merit, you know, especially in the more commercial clubs. It's a lot more based around just sexy imagery.
VJing in a club was actually opening art to an audience that probably would never go to a gallery.
It's been quite an ongoing thing since, you know, the late 80s. You know, there's been video artists that, you know, go in the gallery, they go in somewhere else. So, you know, we feed all these different angles of culture, of creativity, you know, not just entertainment or art. And, you know, it moves so fast we don't really have time to define it. We don't have time to say what it is.
I think the point is, what are the key influences of VJing? I think it's always perceived as the club culture thing, but I think club culture is the avenue to be able to do it.
I'd say in a film sense and in a visual sense, I think there's a hell of a lot of things that have influenced it. I mean, you can trace the roots of experimental film and avant-garde film back to, you know, the beginning of cinema, really.
Like in 60s America, there's been, you know, quite a big movement of, it's called expanded cinema. They started using like film in those big planetariums and, you know, try to blow up the frame of cinema using film in different contexts than just in a black box.
Expanded cinema, people from the sort of 60s and 70s who tried to break away from the conventional forms of filmmaking.
Andy Warhol, who did live projections of more like film projections behind the live performance of Velvet Underground, and so that was kind of almost the first time we saw film and live music being put together, and that was, you know, pretty much a first, and that was very inspiring.
Playing around with creating a film at the process of projection rather than the process of filming.
We're not really inspired so much by cinema, we're more inspired by listening to music and trying to, in a way, to visualise it. Yeah. And maybe even relating to the culture around the music or the sort of imagery that it creates.
I'd say music has definitely shaped live performance, audio-visual culture massively. Quite a sort of direct reflection of what's been going on with other art forms and sort of sample culture, club culture, sort of an extension of that into you know, the new mediums.
You know, the whole rave movement that was very much, you know, where VJing got its name. You know, DJ culture was kind of just exploding, and VJing went kind of on the tail end of that. Didn't go in a commercial success as much as DJ went, but you know, it's still kind of doing its own thing, and it's very much been part of our underground culture.
I think the context of where this work gets shown is very important, and it does change how it's consumed by the audience.
Particularly with our work, we could actually do exactly the same thing that is in what people might define as an entertainment kind of area or space, like in a huge kind of nightclub, and we'll play exactly the same thing in kind of some museum somewhere of contemporary arts or something, and people will see it in a completely different light.
Well, it's crossed over into clubs and festivals pretty well now.
Is a location important? It's not really, but obviously commonly the commonplace for VJs is clubs, festivals or music events. But then obviously you've got other people taking it outside of that sort of context and doing it on buildings or just, you know, anywhere they can find that they can set a projector up.
I think VJing is equally valid in a nightclub or a festival as it is in an art gallery. Obviously, as soon as you put it in an art gallery, then the expectations for the artistic merit of it is completely altered to when it's just some cool moving images in a nightclub.
Maybe I'm idealistic, but I do believe that, you know, art does change the world.
Whichever way it's used, again on the content side, how it's shown and what somebody does with it.
I think that's the beauty of video and sound together. You can really make people think about stuff without having to sort of ram it down their throats.
If you look at Timber by Coldcut and Hexstatic, that's like an AV thing that's made for about the rainforest. It's all together and it's all done like that, and that's cool, man. Because it's like that's its own thing. But don't just come to a fucking club with a drum and bass set and have like loads of starving African kids or something trying to make people like change their political views. It's not what it's about. Like, yeah, people try and bring the politics into it too much, and it's just like, nah, man. Let's just go out and like listen to some cool music, look at some cool visuals.
That's how we see doing stuff, is making pieces that actually show information in a different way.
I'd say it's the perfect art form to represent the 21st century.
Art was always redundant technology. As soon as there was a new technology, For example, painting and photography. As soon as photography came on the realms, it was like painting was accepted as art.
Simply because it is still emerging, it's still a kind of new form.
Because in a way, to use redundant technology, only really artists do that to express themselves in various ways.
It is built on everything culturally that has gone before.
Because it encompasses all media and affects it like no other.